Hello, this is Haglund-Pagel, and the purpose of this video is to give you a concise introduction for using your gradebook. As with any technology tool, your real mastery will come from using it, but this will hopefully get you started. You'll want to start on the district website, and like so much you'll do, you'll go up to the Staff tab and go down to Power Teacher Login. There it will prompt you to put in your login information. Thanks again to Lindsay Labard for letting me use her login information. And it'll bring you to this screen, which you're probably familiar with. Once school starts, these are the buttons you'll hit here to take attendance. These help you manage your seating charts if you want to set those up. We won't be talking about those this time around. This right here gives you some direct information on your students, and of course this over here on the right is all of the information that deals with tests they've taken in the past. But we're not going to worry about that stuff. We're going to focus on the gradebook. You can click this right here, and it'll prompt you to click another thing saying, yes, I actually want to go to the gradebook. But the quickest way is to hit this little arrow that says Instantly Launch Gradebook. So if you hit that, it'll take a few seconds to load up, especially the first time in the year that you're doing it. It might take a little bit of time, but you can expect a short wait. And when you first start to use it, it may ask you if you trust this website. You can say, yes, I trust this website. So you can just hit continue here. And once you're in, this is your gradebook. I have edited out about 2 minutes of wait time there. So hopefully when you load up the first time, it doesn't take that long. But if it's cooking for a long time, don't worry, go find something else to do. So a few basic things you'll want to do. The first thing you'll want to do is do your grade setup, which that's this tab right up here. It looks like a little wrench over A+. And when you click on that, what you're looking at here is sort of the way you are going to set up your entire class. You could go to grade scales here. I think it's generally accepted to leave whatever grade scale your school has put in there. But if you wanted to, that's where that would be changed. So first of all, starting with semester 1, if you double click, it'll give you a few options: total points, term weights, and category weights. I know that Lindsay will want it set up with the term weights so that quarter 1 and quarter 2 are each averaged out to get the final semester grade. And I believe that's the generally accepted way. But again, you could change this. So if you've been directed to do that or you're doing that, feel free to do it. But most folks will have it 50% for each. And then you come down here to the lower right-hand side and hit Save. So now we're set for semester 1. By the way, you're going to want to come back and do this again for semester 2. You could do that right now by coming up here and changing that tab, but in order to keep this brief, we won't do that. Next, you'll want to go to the quarter. You can either do total points or category weights. Now, if you're just doing total points, you leave that alone. But I know a lot of folks at the high school and elsewhere do category weights, so you need to click that. Then you're going to come down here and hit Add Category, because the computer needs to know what categories you're going to use. And you can see here we've got formative and summative. Now, you might have other things in here, but again, in order to keep things kind of short, formative and summative are, if you're in the 9th and 10th grade, pretty much accepted, and a lot of other levels are using that as well. So click formative and summative and hit OK. And now this is important. It's going to ask you what weight does each have. So formative, being our practice, where students are learning to do things, is weighted less than summative, which is where they're showing us what it is they know. So The generally accepted grading policy is formative is weighted 30%, summative is weighted 70%, and then you click Save. Now, if you don't come up here and do the same thing for quarter 2, you'll have a mistake. So once again, go to quarter 2, category weights, add category, formative, summative, okie dokie. You have to make it 30 and 70, and save. Now this is a little bit tedious because you would notice you'll have to do that for each of your courses. And I'm not going to make you watch me do it because if you've seen it done once, you can figure it out. But you're going to want to do that. These are your different classes over here on the left that I'm clicking on. You're going to want to do that for each of the classes. So adjust the semester 1 to be term weights. Change your quarters to whatever category weights you want, or if you're keeping it total points, it's fairly easy. So once you've got all of that done, that should be set for the rest of the year. When you come over to Score Sheet, this is the grade book, and you'll see there aren't any assignments in it yet. So the other thing that you really need to know how to do is create assignments. So if you go to Assignments and hit this little plus down here on the bottom, it'll then prompt you to create your assignment. So this is somebody's actual grade book. I don't want to mess it up too much, so I'll make it clear. We'll call this Fake Assignment 1. If you skip over abbreviation, it'll just make an abbreviation for you. For the category, you need to choose one, either formative or summative. We'll assume, since this is our first assignment, it's formative. And the points possible, you can adjust. You could make, perhaps you're a person who it's a regular 10-point assignment, maybe it's a 5-point assignment. However you want to set that up, that's fine. If there's going to be extra credit, you're going to want to put in here the extra points. So maybe this is one where you could get a few extra points, or maybe not, and you just leave it 0. And then this is where you set the due date. And that will allow you to know when things get turned in on time. Now, the last thing you can do, which is optional, you don't have to, is you can put in a description here. So maybe we say, read pages 1 through 10, answer questions 1 through 5 on page 10. The strength of doing this is when students log into PowerSchool to see what grades they're getting, if this assignment is in there, it will be highlighted blue. They'll be able to click and see this description. And where that's really handy is if you have students who have work that is late, you don't have to remind them, and you don't have to keep posted somewhere in your class what the assignment was. If they see they've got a 0 or it's missing, they can go and see on PowerSchool, aha, I need to read these pages and answer these questions. So it saves you a little bit of work. Once you've got your assignment set up how you want to, you hit Save. And when I do that, I'll just say, just as a reminder, this description you don't have to put in there, but it's a handy thing to do. And if you wanted to create another assignment, maybe this is your first test. So once they've done some work, they've got a test. Again, this time you'll make it summative, not formative, because it's more heavily weighted. And we'll leave that 25 points. If we wanted to change the date, we'll say that's on the second Thursday of school. And again, if you wanted to add a description, you could. And when you hit Save, it will pop up right there. Now, that will just make the assignment in whatever class you're in. If, like in Lindsay's case here, you have 2 classes that are the same, and you're going to want them to do the same work, you don't have to go through the whole process again. There's a quick trick. So, I'm back here where I created fake assignment number 1. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to click Copy Assignments. Now, if I had a whole bunch here that I had entered, I could click them all. And when they've got that little checkbox, they're ready to go. When you hit Next, you get to choose the classes. Now, if you, for instance, have 5 um, classes that are all the same, if you just hit same class, it will go in all those. Or if it just so happens Algebra 1A and Algebra are doing the same assignment, you could do that. But I'm guessing you'd probably just want Algebra to be with Algebra. So you click here, you click OK. And now when you go down to your 7th hour algebra, there those assignments are. The last thing we'll talk about then is entering the grades. So as students start to turn things in and you want to enter grades, you just go to score sheet, which is right here on the top. You go in and you start entering grades. And we're just giving students grades even though they haven't started school yet. Don't worry, we'll hit revert. Now, if you try to enter a score that is higher than they can get, it'll prompt you and say, you can't do that. So it'll make you fix it. There are also options if you right-click. Perhaps you just want to make sure you've collected an assignment, but you don't have time to grade it right away. You could click collected, and it'll give a little check mark and students will know it's collected. Or if it's late, you could click that, and they'll know. If it's missing, or there's also the option to do exempt. What exempt means is that particular assignment won't hurt them, but it won't help their grade either. So perhaps a student has a surgery, you've decided to teach them this particular assignment in some other way, and so you aren't going to have anything to grade, but you're not going to have anything to hold against them. You can click exempt, and then they don't need to do that. If I went down here and clicked save, it would save it in my gradebook. And what that also does is that would send it out to PowerSchool, so students in this class and their parents, if they signed in, could see that grade. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hit revert because, of course, we don't want to confuse people before school starts. So if you have any other questions about your gradebook, you can talk to other teachers. If you're a new teacher, it's great to talk to your mentor. But like so much software, as long as you start using it, you should be able to figure it out. Good luck with the start of the school year.